Last year, Americans handed the pest control industry over $13 billion. And when exterminators were asked which pest keeps dragging them back to the same house over and over, more than half named the exact same one: ants. Here's the part that stings. There's a brown bottle in your bathroom cabinet, about $1, that breaks that cycle, plus 8 other infestations. Almost nobody uses it correctly. Let's fix that. Number 1, wipe out fungus gnats at the root. If you've ever had houseplants, you know these little demons. Fungus gnats are those tiny black flies that swarm up out of your soil the second you water a plant, then buzz straight into your face while you're trying to enjoy your morning coffee. And here's the part most people never realize: the adults flying around are the least of your problems. The real damage is happening underground, where the larvae are chewing through your plant's tender root hairs. This is where hydrogen peroxide becomes an absolute weapon. The trick is a soil drench, and the ratio matters. You want to mix 1 part 3% hydrogen peroxide with 4 parts water. So that's 1 cup of peroxide to 4 cups of water, or for a single plant, just a 1/4 cup of peroxide to a cup of water. That gives you roughly a 0.6% solution, which is the sweet spot recommended by extension programs like Cornell Cooperative Extension. It's strong enough to kill the larvae, but gentle enough that it won't scorch your roots. Now, here's the fun part. Let your soil dry out first, then pour the solution over the top until it drains out the bottom of the pot. You'll immediately hear and see a soft fizzing sound. That's not just for show. That fizz is the peroxide breaking down into water and oxygen. And that burst of reactive oxygen is literally rupturing the soft bodies of the larvae hiding in the top few inches of soil. They die within seconds. But here's the mistake almost everyone makes, and it's why some people swear it didn't work. 1 treatment is not enough. Peroxide kills the larvae, but it does not kill the eggs. And those eggs keep hatching every 4 to 6 days. So you have to repeat the drench every time you water for the next 2 to 3 weeks to catch each new wave. Do that, and studies suggest you can knock down the larval population by up to 80%. As a bonus, all that extra oxygen actually reoxygenates the root zone and helps a waterlogged plant recover. Number 2, erase the invisible ant highway. Here's something the exterminators really don't want you to know, because it costs them a service call. When you see a line of ants marching across your counter, you're not just seeing bugs, you're seeing traffic on a chemical highway. Ants navigate by laying down invisible pheromone trails. Scout ants find your sugar bowl, then walk back home leaving a scented breadcrumb path, and every ant that follows reinforces it. That's why they always seem to march in that eerie, single-file line. Kill the ants you can see, and it does almost nothing because the highway is still painted across your floor, and a fresh batch will be following it within the hour. This is where peroxide shines. Instead of just squashing the ants, you attack the road itself. Take a diluted hydrogen peroxide solution in a spray bottle, spray directly down the trail, and then wipe it up with a cloth. The peroxide neutralizes those chemical markers the ants rely on. Suddenly, the highway is gone, the scouts are lost, and the colony has no idea how to get back to your kitchen. You're not fighting the ants, you're deleting their map. And if you spray the ants themselves along the way, the oxidizing action will finish them off too. It's a 2-in-1 move that gets to the root of why they keep coming back. Number 3, the trash can maggot blitz. All right, this one is gross, but if you've ever lifted a garbage can lid on a hot summer day and seen a writhing white carpet of maggots, you know the special kind of horror we're talking about. Most people reach for boiling water or bleach, but there's a faster, less harsh option. Maggots are just fly larvae, and like all the soft-bodied pests on this list, they have absolutely no defense against oxidation. Pour or spray hydrogen peroxide directly onto them, making sure the liquid actually contacts their bodies, and within just a few seconds, they stop moving. It's almost unsettling how quickly it works. The reactive oxygen tears through their soft outer membranes on contact. The move here is to hit them directly, wait a few seconds for everything to go still, and then bag up the remains and seal them in an outdoor bin. After that, give the whole can a rinse and scrub because peroxide does double duty as a disinfectant and deodorizer. It'll knock down that rotting stench and kill the bacteria that were attracting flies in the first place. A quick tip to keep them from coming back: keep the can dry and lidded, since flies need moist, rotting organic matter to lay their eggs on. No buffet, no maggots. Number 4, ambush spider mites on the leaf undersides. Spider mites are the pest you often don't even see until the damage is done. They're so tiny they look like moving specks of dust, usually red, brown, or pale yellow, and they set up shop on the undersides of leaves where they quietly suck the sap out of your plants. The first sign of trouble is usually a leaf that's gone speckled, dusty, and weak, sometimes with fine little webs strung across it. Here's why this trick is so satisfying. Spider mites might technically be arachnids, not insects, but they still have delicate, thin exoskeletons, and peroxide compromises those on contact. Get yourself a spray bottle of regular 3% hydrogen peroxide. For a foliar spray, you can use it straight from the bottle at 3%, or dilute it a bit for more sensitive plants at roughly 1 part peroxide to 9 or 10 parts water. Now, the key to the whole operation, you have to spray the undersides of the leaves. That's where the mites live and breed, and a lot of people fail because they only missed the tops. Coat the underside of every leaf, hit the stems, and get the top of the soil too. Do this in the early morning or evening, never in direct midday sun, because sunlight makes the peroxide break down before it can do its job, and it can scorch wet leaves. The oxidation dehydrates the mites and breaks down their bodies. You'll see an effect on the living mites almost immediately. But once again, it doesn't kill the eggs, so you'll want to repeat this every 3 days for about 2 weeks to break the reproductive cycle. Bumping up the humidity around the plant afterward helps too, since mites thrive in dry air. Number 5. Melt aphids off your plants. If spider mites are the invisible menace, aphids are the ones you can actually watch destroying your garden. These little pear-shaped bugs, usually green but sometimes black, brown, or pink, cluster in dense colonies on new growth and the undersides of leaves, draining the plant and leaving behind a sticky residue called honeydew that then grows nasty black sooty mold. Aphids are the poster child for soft-bodied pests, which makes them perfectly vulnerable to peroxide. Mix 1 part 3% hydrogen peroxide with 4 parts water, pour it into a spray bottle, and then absolutely drench the infested plant, making sure you make direct contact with the aphids themselves. That direct hit is everything. The peroxide damages their soft outer exoskeleton, and they simply can't survive it. There's a nice bonus here too. Remember that black sooty mold the aphids cause? Peroxide attacks that as well, so you're cleaning up the aftermath at the same time you're killing the culprits. A word of caution that separates the pros from the amateurs. Always spot test first. Spray a small section of the plant, wait a few days, and make sure the leaves don't burn before you go all in. Some tender plants are more sensitive than others, and you'd rather lose one leaf than the whole plant. Number 6. The dust mite mattress mist. Now let's talk about the pest you're literally sleeping with every night, whether you like it or not. Dust mites are microscopic arthropods that live in your mattress, pillows, couches, and carpets, feeding on the dead skin cells we constantly shed. You can't see them, but the American Lung Association reports that 4 out of 5 homes have dust mite allergens in at least one bed. If you wake up with a stuffy nose, itchy eyes, or a morning cough, these tiny freeloaders may be part of the reason. The hack that's been making the rounds is a light mattress mist. You mix equal parts 3% hydrogen peroxide and water in a spray bottle, and some folks add a few drops of lavender or tea tree oil for scent and extra antimicrobial punch. Lightly mist the mattress, pillows, and upholstery, paying attention to seams, folds, and crevices where mites gather. Let it sit for 15 to 20 minutes. Make sure everything is fully dry, and then vacuum thoroughly to pull out the dead mites and allergens. Peroxide is also a mild bleaching agent and a powerful oxidizer, so it doubles as a way to lift old sweat stains and kill odor-causing bacteria at the same time. Now, I promised you facts, so here's the honest truth on this one. Some cleaning experts point out that there aren't clinical studies proving peroxide reliably kills dust mites in a mattress. And because it's a bleaching agent, it can discolor fabric. And if the mattress doesn't dry completely, it could actually invite more moisture-loving mites and mold. So the smart play is to treat it as one tool alongside the proven stuff. Wash your bedding weekly on the hottest setting, vacuum with an upholstery attachment, and keep your home's humidity down. Use the peroxide mist lightly, dry it fully, and don't rely on it alone. Number 7. The Roach 1-2 Punch. Cockroaches are survivors. Fossil evidence shows they've been around for at least 320 million years, and anyone who's ever chased one across a kitchen at 2 in the morning knows they did not earn that reputation by being easy to kill. So let me be straight with you. Spraying peroxide at a roach is like showing up to a gunfight with a slingshot. On its own, it's just not enough firepower for these armored, fast-breeding tanks. But here's the clever move the pros use. You pair peroxide with a bait, and you let each one do the job it's good at. Hydrogen peroxide is your sanitizer and your first responder. Use it to wipe down counters, under the sink, and around the fridge, killing bacteria, erasing the greasy scent trails roaches follow, and cleaning up the food residue that draws them in. Then you bring in the real killer, boric acid. Boric acid is a naturally occurring compound that's low risk for people, but absolutely lethal to roaches. When a roach walks through it, the fine powder clings to its body, and when it grooms itself later, it swallows the powder, which wrecks its nervous and digestive systems. The genius part is that roaches often eat their dead, so one poisoned roach carried back to the nest can take out others in a slow domino effect. Apply a thin layer or mix it into a sugar bait in the dark corners where they travel, but keep it well away from countertops, food prep areas, kids, and pets. The peroxide keeps the battlefield clean and disorienting, and the boric acid delivers the knockout. Together, they hit the infestation at its core. Number 8. The hitchhiker killing pre-soak. This next one is genius because it stops a pest problem before it ever gets into your home or garden. Think about it. So many infestations start with a hitchhiker. You bring home garlic cloves to plant or seeds or a set of bulbs, and riding along on them are microscopic mites, fungal spores, and bacteria just waiting for the right conditions to explode into a full-blown problem. The fix is a simple pre-soak. Before you plant your garlic cloves or seeds, mix about 1 cup of 3% hydrogen peroxide into a gallon of water and let them soak. Hydrogen peroxide releases oxygen that disrupts and breaks down the cell walls of any bacteria, fungal spores, and soft-bodied mites clinging to the surface. You're essentially sterilizing your planting stock and evicting the hitchhikers before they ever touch your soil. And the benefits don't stop at pest control. That same oxygen boost can actually give seeds a healthier start by helping to soften the seed coat and kickstart germination, which is why so many gardeners quietly soak their seeds in a peroxide solution every single season. It's a 2-for-1. You're killing pests and pathogens while giving your future plants a stronger, cleaner head start. Fewer bugs, better harvest, no chemicals. Number 9. The mealybug and whitefly spot kill. Let's finish with two of the most frustrating houseplant pests out there. Mealybugs look like tiny tufts of white cotton wedged into the joints of your plants, and whiteflies are those little white specks that erupt into a tiny cloud every time you brush against an infested leaf. Both are sapsuckers, both breed fast, and both drive plant lovers absolutely crazy. Here's the good news. Like nearly everything else on this list, mealybugs and whiteflies are soft-bodied, which means peroxide is effective against them at that reliable 3% concentration. For mealybugs, the spot kill approach works beautifully. Mix your solution, then either spray the colonies directly, or for those cottony clusters tucked into stem joints, dip a cotton swab in the peroxide and dab it right onto them. The oxidation destroys their cell membranes on contact, and that waxy white coating won't save them. For whiteflies, a foliar spray is your friend. Coat the undersides of the leaves where they cluster and lay their eggs, and hit them in the cooler part of the day so the solution doesn't evaporate or burn the leaves. As with the mites and aphids, plan on repeating the treatment every few days, because you'll need multiple passes to catch newly hatched pests and finally break the cycle. Stick with it, and you'll reclaim your plants from two of the peskiest invaders around, all with that same dollar bottle from your bathroom. So there you have it. 9 ways that humble brown bottle can go toe-to-toe with the pests invading your home and garden. It's cheap, it's low toxicity, and it's probably sitting a few feet away from you right now. Give a few of these a try and see just how much you can handle yourself. Thanks for watching. If this saved you a call to the exterminator, hit that like button and share it with a friend who's fighting bugs. And subscribe with notifications on so you never miss a video.